Hi guys, welcome back to Glittery Crystals. Today I made a Beetlejuice cup. How pretty is it? I just can't stop watching it. I'm in love with this cup. I'm not such a big fan of Beetlejuice, but I really loved the way it turned out. It has so much going on. It is a very lengthy process, but look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. And it glows in the dark. So, yes, let's get to it, honey. Okay, so I have my tumbler already spray painted. I have my Mod Podge right here. That's what I will be using um, to glue my glitter. And the two glitters that I will be using are Pure Crystals and Galaxy Ultra Fine. Galaxy Ultrafine is a black hollow. So, yes, I love that. So, once I have my cup already spray painted, I will apply my tape to guide me where I need my lines at. Make sure that your spray paint has been fully dried for a few hours, if not overnight. It has to be fully dried. If it's not fully dried, once you remove your tape, that will lift your spray paint and you do not want it. So this is the tape that I'm using. I'm using it, I'm not sure what's the thickness. I want to say an inch or 3/4 of an inch thickness. And I am laying my tape down, and as you can see, I have a scrapped strip of tape, and I'm putting it next to each other just so I can see where I have to position the next strip of tape. And as you can see here, there was a small gap after the last strip. So what I decided to do was grab that last strip of tape and just position it in the middle of the first and the last strand, so there's not that much of a gap. Once we have firmly pressed on the tape, I will be grabbing my Mod Podge and I will apply it. It's going to be a thin layer, not too thin, not too thick. Thin enough that you don't see those strikes or streaks, and thick enough where the glitter can stick to it. So this is a tip I'm going to give you that I did not do with this cup. Spray paint your cup with your glitter color. So what I should have done here was spray painted black. I will be using my black color first. I should have spray painted it black. That way I didn't need to use 2 coats of glitter. But I did not do that. I spray painted the whole cup white. And yes, that's a way for you to save on glitter. But I didn't mind going over it twice. But if you want to save some buck, glitter is not cheap. If you want to save some buck, I would recommend you spray painting your cup black or the color of the glitter to avoid doing 2 layers of each glitter. Once we have applied our Mod Podge and we have gone around and done the first layer, I will continue applying Mod Podge for the second layer of glitter. This time I am applying a little bit more of my Mod Podge, and I'm doing this so I do not drag my glitter. I'm applying this amount of Mod Podge and gently applying it. The video clip that you are seeing is fast forward, but I am taking my time and doing it gently. And as you can see here, I put down a pink heart, a sticker, just so it can be my guide to where I started, so I don't go over it more than twice. Once I have done that step, I will be removing my tapes. I am removing them right after the second layer of my glitter. How pretty is watching this? It's like an ASMR, except with sound. So now with a clean, dry brush, I am removing these little chunks that were left on the edge. I'm kind of cleaning up the edge. So once I'm done doing that, I will make sure that I'm satisfied, and I will be using my crystal clear enamel spray to seal that glitter. That way I do not contaminate the black with the white. Once I have sealed my cup and it has been dried for at least 15-20 minutes, I will start applying my Mod Podge, and I will apply my white glitter. Make sure you do not go over the black with your Mod Podge, because wherever you put your Mod Podge, that's where your glitter is going to stick to. And do not be afraid that there's glitter on top of your black glitter. There's white glitter on top of your black glitter. Since the black glitter has been sealed, we will not have an issue removing that white glitter. So again, once I was done with the first layer, I will go back with Mod Podge and I will apply a second layer of pure crystals. Right after I am done, I will use a clean, dry brush and I will remove as much glitter from the black section. I will also remove the bottom layer of the tape, and I will seal this glitter again. I will seal where the glitter has been. But before you seal it, make sure that you have cleaned your glitter as much or as best as possible. These are the 2-second glitters that I will be using. Eggplant, which is a mix of purples. I love this shade of purple. And Wicked Witch is a round confetti mix. I applied more tape, and this way I kind of decided where I was going to place my eggplant glitter. And I am also applying a thicker coat of Mod Podge. Try and smooth out your Mod Podge as best as possible. I know it's very hard to avoid those streaks, but after I have applied my Mod Podge, I will kind of remove the excess of the Mod Podge on my brush and go back and yes, smooth out my Mod Podge as best as possible. With Mod Podge, you have to work as quickly as possible because it tends to dry fairly quickly. Since I applied 2 coats of my first glitters, I will be repeating that same step with the rest of my glitter, or with eggplant. I will apply a second coat even if it did not need it. I will apply a second coat because I don't want this section of the cup to be thinner than the coats of the other glitters. Look at how pretty this color is. It's very beautiful. It stands out for sure. Now, this section I did not seal. I will grab a new cup with Mod Podge and I will apply this green acrylic paint. I will tint my Mod Podge. That way, the bottom of the cup, it's like if I were to spray paint that section. Instead of spray painting my cup green, I will be tinting my Mod Podge. So when the Mod Podge dries, it's going to dry this green color. I will only apply 1 layer of this chunky glitter mixture. It does not need 2. Since it's chunky, I can just leave it at 1. So I will do the same process as the rest. Apply my green Mod Podge and apply my glitter. As I am applying my glitter, I am going to press down the glitter, just making sure that everything is well glued to the cup. After I have done applying this glitter, once again, I will go back with my crystal clear enamel and seal the entire tumbler. I want to make sure everything is well sealed so none of the glitters move its place. I actually did 2 coats of that crystal clear enamel. Once it has fully dried, about 30 to 40 minutes, I will apply my epoxy. Once I have epoxied my entire cup, this is what I do where I applied my chunky glitter. I go back with my finger and add a little extra epoxy just to make sure that that this section is fully covered with epoxy. Once it has cured, I will go back and use some sanding paper and sand my tumbler as smooth as possible. I have already pre-cut my white vinyl where I will be applying my water slide. I am using this white vinyl, that way I have a more crisp look of my water slide instead of applying my clear water slide where the strips of white and black are. It helps my image stand out more. And be careful, don't rip the vinyl. I did a little slit right there, but everything's fine. This is the image I will be using. I bought it off of Etsy and I printed it from using my Cricut design space. Once I printed it, I put it on the mat and it cut around the image. That way it fits perfectly with my white vinyl. And you don't have to do this step, but I liked it. It made my image look more crisp and very nice. So I am going to apply my water slide, but I am going to remove the extra clear water slide around it. So that's where the Cricut cut. I just remove that and I am applying my water slide on top of my wet vinyl. I find it easier to pull the image down and the backing up. I tried doing it the other way around, and for me it works best this way, pulling the image down and the backing up. I'm going to wet my fingers again and I am going to position my image. It takes a few seconds to position, and I did notice that one of the bugs, it did go underneath the image, and that was an easy fix. So now I am going to go back with my napkin and I am going to pat dry the image. This step is going to take a few minutes. I am going to dry as much as possible and I am going to make sure that there is no air bubbles inside the image. If you see an air bubble, just squeegee out that bubble with your finger. And the spider, as you can see here, went on top where the pink area is. But yes, just go around the image and make sure all those bubbles are out. I let my cup sit for about 30 minutes to an hour until it's fully dry. As time goes by, there are going to be air bubbles in your image. Make sure to check on your image every few minutes to get those air bubbles out underneath your image. I'm saying image so much. I'm so sorry. So these are the products that I will be using. I will be applying nice and thick to my epoxy. I really do not know if I'm adding such a little amount. I added 3 times that portion that you see here, and it took forever to thicken up. This is the second time I have used this product. I'm not sure if I'm adding just a small amount or what the issue is, but it's not working for me. After I applied my nice and thick powder, I am applying that green acrylic paint to tint my epoxy. I will also be using one of our glitters, White Lies. This is going to give it that sparkle. Look at how pretty it's gonna look. You can add as little or as much products you want. We will also be applying our glow-in-the-dark powder. The powder that I am using here is sold out at the moment of creating this video. It's bright green. We have several other colors, but it's up to you what color glow-in-the-dark you want. But this is bright green from our collection. It's sold out. I'm almost out of this powder. I love, love, love the way this powder glows in the dark. So as you can see here, I am using my UV flashlight to activate my glow-in-the-dark powder. And this is what you get. This is with the lights on, and the image before was with the lights off. I love that glitter. I love that sparkle. So at this point, it's getting thicker. It has already been 40 minutes, and it's not at the consistency I would have wanted. I wish I would have waited a little bit more. It was past 1 a.m. I just wanted to get my tumbler going. But I really don't know what happened. I don't know if the nice and thick powder is not working for me, or if I'm just adding a very small amount, if I'm supposed to add a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. I really don't know the amount that you're supposed to be using with your epoxy. But as you can see here, I am just applying my epoxy on the rim. I am avoiding adding my epoxy on top of my image as of right now. I only want the drips to be on the rest of the cup because I don't want the drips to fall so deep into the image. That's why I'm leaving that section for the end once I see that my epoxy is getting thicker. And as you can see, it's still pretty runny. So if I would have waited another 30-40 minutes, it would have been in a better consistency. But I was afraid that if I waited too long, I was not going to be able to work with it and have that drip that I wanted to. Once I had applied my epoxy, I will go back, apply more of that epoxy, and make sure it's touching the rim. Make sure that the rim is fully covered. So you will be applying your epoxy. You're gonna let your cup sit for a few seconds and then go back, flip your cup over, and repeat the process. And you can see here that the epoxy is falling fairly quickly. And it's up to you as how much or how little epoxy you want to apply to your drip. After it was almost ready, I applied my epoxy on the rim. And this is the end result. Three of the drips actually went all the way to the table, and I cut that portion off. So what you can do here is you can just leave it as is. For me, they don't look bad. I'm gonna keep this cup. They don't look that bad. Or you can go back and apply more of that eggplant glitter to cover the bottom part. And this is how it glows in the dark. I actually have a window on my left side, so it does not glow as bright as it would in a pitch black room. But I love the way it glows. I really love this glow in the dark powder. It's one of my top sellers, and this is the reason why. So now I am going to apply a very thin layer of epoxy. Even if I still have to seal my image, it's going to be sealed very well, but I am applying a very thin layer of epoxy. You see a lot of epoxy here in this cup because I am applying epoxy to several cups. But I want to say I used about between 5 and 7 mLs of epoxy for this entire cup. I spread it out as much as I could, and I started to remove that extra epoxy. So as you can see, it's a very, very thin layer of epoxy. I do recommend you going and kneeling down and trying to see like those, specifically the crevices where the drips are, making sure that all of that is sealed. But you don't want to apply that much of epoxy because you want that 3D drip effect, which we have worked so much. So this is what I mean. I go on the side and I see if there's anything that I need to remove from my epoxy, if there's any crevices where the drips are that I need to seal or that I need to rub my finger through. And I'm kind of removing the extra epoxy, but I'm going back and forth, making sure everything is well covered. I am also making sure that my image it has a good amount or the necessary amount of epoxy to have complete coverage. But as you can see, my cup is ready to go. This is the bottom portion where you see the drip that I cut off. But for me, it doesn't look that bad. It's up to you if you want to put more of that purple glitter or if you want to leave it as is. After it has been curing, this is the final result. I love this cup. There's so much going on with this cup, but I'm in love with it. I love it. I love how it turned out. I know I say that I love all my cups, but I'm very proud of the end result. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for all of you that have liked my videos, that have commented, that have subscribed. It means the world to me. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And yes, guys, thank you so much for being part of this group. And I hope you enjoyed this video. All right, we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.